Greetings, beloved friends, and welcome to this sacred moment where we gather to share a story that will stir your soul and ignite your faith. Today, I am thrilled to introduce you to a tale titled The Dawn of Deliverance, a journey of one woman's transformation through divine encounters in the darkest hours. This story follows Sarah, a weary soul battling despair, who discovers a mysterious call to pray at 3 a.m., leading her to unexpected breakthroughs. Through trials, revelations, and unwavering faith, she learns that God's promises shine brightest in the night. So, open your hearts, dear ones, and let this narrative draw you closer to the one who never sleeps nor slumbers. Prepare to witness how a single prayer can change everything. In the small, forgotten town of Imberfield, where the wind whispered secrets through ancient oaks, Sarah Thompson lived a life cloaked in shadows. At 32, she was a woman whose dreams had long been buried beneath the weight of disappointment. Once a vibrant artist, her canvases now gathered dust in the attic, untouched for years. Her marriage to David had crumbled 5 years ago, leaving her with a heart scarred by betrayal and a daughter, Lily, who barely spoke to her anymore. Sarah worked endless shifts at a diner, her hands trembling as she poured coffee, her eyes dulled by sleepless nights. Bills piled high on her kitchen counter, and the eviction notice taped to her door was a constant reminder of her unraveling world. Yet, deep within, a flicker of hope refused to die, though she scarcely acknowledged it. It was a chilly October night when the strange stirring began. Sarah lay in bed, staring at the cracked ceiling, her mind a battlefield of worry. The clock read 2:47 a.m., and sleep was a distant stranger. She tossed, pulling the thin blanket tighter, when a soft, almost imperceptible whisper seemed to echo in her room. "Arise, Sarah. Seek me now." She sat up, heart pounding, glancing around the empty darkness. The voice was gentle yet commanding, like a melody she couldn't ignore. Was it her imagination? Exhaustion playing tricks? She shook her head, dismissing it, but the whisper returned, stronger this time. "Come to me in the secret place." Her breath caught. She hadn't prayed in years, not since the divorce, not since she'd stopped believing God cared. But something about that voice, that pull, felt undeniable. Sarah slipped out of bed, her bare feet cold against the hardwood floor. She hesitated, then knelt by her bedside, the act feeling foreign, almost absurd. "God, if you're there," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Why now? Why me?" No answer came, but a warmth spread through her chest like a candle flickering to life. She glanced at the clock, 3:03 a.m. The world outside was silent, the usual hum of Imberfield streets absent. In that stillness, Sarah felt something shift, as if the veil between her and the divine had thinned. She closed her eyes, words spilling out haltingly at first, then with growing urgency. She prayed for Lily, for their fractured bond, for her crumbling finances, for the strength to face another day. Tears streamed down her face, each one a release of years of pent-up pain. As she prayed, memories flooded back, her mother's voice singing hymns, her childhood laughter as she painted wildflowers, the dreams she'd once held so tightly. But with those memories came the weight of her failures, the day David walked out, the night she'd cried herself to sleep, the moments she'd pushed Lily away in her own grief. Yet, in this sacred hour, those burdens felt lighter, as if someone else was carrying them. Sarah didn't understand it, but she sensed a presence, a love that wrapped around her like a warm embrace. She prayed until her voice grew hoarse, until the first hints of dawn crept through her window. When she finally rose, something had changed. Her circumstances hadn't shifted, the bills were still there, the eviction notice unmoved, but her heart felt anchored, her spirit buoyed by an inexplicable peace. That morning, as Sarah poured coffee at the diner, a customer, an older woman with kind eyes, slipped her a note. "God sees you, dear. Keep praying at 3 a.m. He's not done with you." Sarah froze, the words piercing her. How could the stranger know? She tucked the note into her apron, her mind racing. Was this a coincidence, or was God truly speaking? The rest of her shift passed in a blur, her thoughts consumed by that midnight call. She didn't know what lay ahead, but she felt a spark of courage, a whisper of purpose reigniting within her. That night, she set her alarm for 3 a.m., determined to return to that secret place, unaware that this was only the beginning of a journey that would test her faith, unveil hidden truths, and lead her to a deliverance she never imagined possible. Beloved, this is just the start of Sarah's story, a testament to the power of answering God's call in the quiet hours. Will you join her in seeking Him? Type Amen below if this stirs your heart, and share this story with someone who needs hope. Let's walk this path together, trusting that God is moving, even in the darkest night. Sarah's alarm pierced the silence at 3 a.m., a sharp reminder of the vow she'd made to herself. She rubbed her eyes, the weight of exhaustion pressing against her resolve. The memory of the previous night's prayer lingered, a warmth, a peace she couldn't explain, but doubt crept in like a shadow. Was it real, or just desperation masquerading as divine intervention? She pushed the thought aside and knelt by her bed, the cold floor grounding her. God, she whispered, if you're calling me, show me. I'm here. The words felt fragile, but she pressed on, praying for Lily, for clarity, for a way out of the financial pit swallowing her life. The stillness of Emberfield wrapped around her, amplifying every creak of the house, every beat of her heart. As she prayed, a faint glow caught her eye. She glanced at the window, expecting moonlight, but saw nothing. The glow pulsed again, this time from her nightstand. Her old Bible, untouched for years, lay there, its pages slightly ajar. Sarah hesitated, then reached for it, dust coating her fingers. She opened it randomly, landing on Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. The words struck her like a chord, resonating with a part of her she'd long buried. She read on, her voice trembling, until a soft knock at the front door startled her. Her heart raced. Who could be here at this hour? Emberfield was a quiet town. Strangers didn't wander at night. Cautiously, Sarah tiptoed downstairs, clutching her phone. Through the peephole, she saw an older man, his face weathered but kind, illuminated by the porch light. He wore a worn coat and held a small lantern, its flame flickering. Against her better judgment, she opened the door a crack. "Can I help you?" she asked, her voice tight. The man smiled gently. "I'm Ezra. I felt led to come here tonight, Sarah. The Lord has a message for you." Her breath caught. How did he know her name? She wanted to slam the door, but something in his eyes, a quiet authority, held her still. "I don't know you," she said, "and I don't believe in messages from strangers." Ezra nodded, unperturbed. "I was once like you, lost in the dark, until God called me at 3 a.m. He's calling you now, child. Keep seeking him in these hours. He's preparing you for something great." He handed her a small, leather-bound journal. "Write your prayers here. They'll guide you when the path grows dim." Before she could respond, he turned and walked into the night, the lantern's light fading. Sarah stood frozen, the journal heavy in her hands. Her rational mind screamed that this was nonsense, but her heart whispered otherwise. Back in her room, she opened the journal, its blank pages stark against the lamplight. She wrote her first entry. "God, who is Ezra? Why me? Show me your way." The next day, Sarah couldn't shake the encounter. At the diner, she served regulars, her mind replaying Ezra's words. A co-worker, Maria, noticed her distraction. "You okay, Sarah? You look like you've seen a ghost." Sarah hesitated, then shared the story, expecting laughter. Instead, Maria's eyes widened. "That sounds like Ezra the Wanderer. Folks say he shows up when someone's at a crossroads, like he's God's messenger." Sarah scoffed, but Maria's sincerity unnerved her. That night, she prayed again at 3 a.m., clutching the journal, asking for discernment. The glow returned, fainter but persistent, as if urging her forward. Sarah's doubts clashed with a growing curiosity. Could God really be moving in her life? Or was she chasing a delusion? She didn't know, but she resolved to keep praying, unaware that Ezra's visit was only the first of many signs pointing her toward a destiny she couldn't yet see. The third night of Sarah's 3 a.m. prayers brought a storm, both outside and within. Rain lashed against her windows, thunder rumbling like a warning. She knelt, journal open, but her words felt hollow. "God, I don't know if you're real," she admitted, her voice breaking. "Ezra, the glow, the Bible, was it all in my head?" Doubt had taken root, fed by years of unanswered prayers and broken dreams. She thought of Lily, now 16, who spent more time with friends than at home, her silence a wall Sarah couldn't breach. The pain of their distance gnawed at her, fueling her skepticism. What kind of God would let her daughter drift so far? Yet, as she prayed, a memory surfaced, Lily as a toddler, giggling as Sarah painted her tiny hands with watercolors. The joy of that moment contrasted sharply with their current estrangement, and Sarah's heart ached. She wrote in the journal, "I want my daughter back. I want to believe you can fix this." The act of writing grounded her, each word a small rebellion against despair. But the storm outside mirrored her turmoil. Every flash of lightning seemed to mock her fragile faith. She closed her eyes, pleading for a sign, anything to anchor her wavering trust. That morning, Sarah found a letter from Lily's school, tucked under a pile of bills. It detailed a parent-teacher conference, noting Lily's recent withdrawal and declining grades. Sarah's stomach churned. She'd been so consumed by survival that she'd missed her daughter's struggles. Guilt overwhelmed her, but so did determination. She drove to the school, her hands trembling on the wheel. The teacher, Miss Carter, was kind but direct. "Lily's hurting, Sarah. She needs you, but she's built walls. Maybe start with something small, like her art." The mention of art stung. Lily had inherited Sarah's talent, but stopped drawing after the divorce. Sarah nodded, promising to try, though she felt woefully unprepared. At home, Sarah dug through the attic, finding Lily's old sketchbook. Its pages were filled with vibrant drawings, now faded, a testament to a happier time. She left it on Lily's bed with a note. "I miss your art. I miss you." When Lily returned, she glanced at the sketchbook but said nothing, her expression unreadable. Sarah's heart sank, but she refused to give up. That night, at 3 a.m., she prayed with renewed fervor, asking God to soften Lily's heart. The storm had passed, and the silence felt heavy with possibility. She wrote in the journal, "I'm scared, but I'm choosing to trust you. Help me reach her." The next day, a small miracle unfolded. Lily joined Sarah at the kitchen table, sketchbook in hand. "Why'd you leave this?" she asked, her tone guarded. Sarah took a deep breath. "Because I see you in those drawings, Lily. I want to see you again." For a moment, Lily's walls seemed to crack, but she retreated to her room without another word. Sarah's hope flickered, but the encounter felt like a step forward. Her prayers were becoming a lifeline, a way to navigate the tension between doubt and faith. She didn't know if God would answer, but the act of seeking him was reshaping her, teaching her to hold fast even when the path was unclear. The fourth night of Sarah's 3 a.m. prayers tested her newfound resolve. A phone call from her landlord had come that evening, demanding payment within a week or face eviction. Panic gripped her. She had no savings, no way to cover the rent. Kneeling in the dark, she clutched the journal, her prayers a mix of desperation and defiance. "God, you called me here. You said you're my refuge. Where are you now?" The words felt like a challenge, a dare to the divine. She prayed for provision, for Lily, for a miracle to keep their home. But the silence that followed was deafening, and Sarah wondered if she'd been foolish to hope. The next day, a coworker quit at the diner, leaving Sarah with double shifts. Exhaustion set in, her body aching as she juggled orders and forced smiles. During a break, she overheard customers discussing a local art fair, a chance for artists to sell their work. The idea sparked something in her, a faint echo of her old dreams. Could she paint again? Sell something to save their home? The thought terrified her. She hadn't touched a brush in years, and failure loomed large. Yet, at 3 a.m., she prayed for courage, writing in the journal, "If this is your plan, give me strength. I'm so afraid." Sarah spent her next day off in the attic, surrounded by dusty canvases. She pulled out an old painting, a half-finished landscape of Emberfield's fields. Her hands trembled as she mixed colors, each stroke a battle against self-doubt. Memories of David's criticism, calling her art a waste of time, resurfaced, but she pushed through, praying silently. By evening, the painting was complete, vibrant, and alive. She stared at it, a mix of pride and fear swirling within. Would anyone buy it? Could it really help? At the art fair, Sarah's booth was modest, her single painting displayed nervously. Crowds passed, some glancing, others ignoring her. Her hope waned until a woman stopped, her eyes lingering on the canvas. "This speaks to me," she said, introducing herself as Clara, a gallery owner. She offered to buy it and invited Sarah to submit more work. Sarah's heart soared, but caution tempered her joy. Could she trust this opportunity? That night, at 3 a.m., she thanked God for the sale, which covered half the rent, but pleaded for more provision. The journal entry read, "You're moving, but I'm still scared. Keep showing me the way." Clara's offer lingered in Sarah's mind, a beacon of possibility. But the pressure of the looming eviction and Lily's distance weighed heavily. Sarah's prayers became a refuge, a place to wrestle with fear and cling to hope. The art fair had been a step, but the storm wasn't over. She sensed God was teaching her to trust, one trembling step at a time, preparing her for battles she couldn't yet see. Sarah's fifth night of prayer felt different, lighter, as if the air held a promise. The sale of her painting had eased some pressure, but the eviction deadline loomed. Kneeling, she thanked God for Clara's offer and prayed for wisdom to balance her diner job, art, and Lily. "Send me people to walk with," she whispered, feeling the weight of her solitude. The journal entry was simple. "I can't do this alone. Surround me with your strength." As she prayed, a sense of anticipation stirred, like a door about to open. The next day, Maria invited Sarah to a small prayer group at her church. Hesitant, Sarah agreed, driven by curiosity and a longing for connection. The group met in a cozy basement, 6 people gathered around a wooden table. They welcomed Sarah warmly, their faces radiating kindness. The leader, Pastor Ruth, shared a story of her own 3 a.m. prayers, mirroring Sarah's experience. God meets us in the night, Ruth said, when we're raw and real. Sarah's guard lowered, and she shared her journey, Ezra, the journal, the art fair. The group prayed over her, their voices a chorus of faith, lifting her burdens. Among them was James, a quiet carpenter with a gentle smile. He offered to repair Sarah's porch, damaged from neglect, refusing payment. "It's what neighbors do," he said. Sarah accepted, touched by his generosity. Over the next few days, James worked on the porch, sharing stories of his own struggles, losing his wife to illness, raising his son alone. His resilience inspired Sarah, easing her sense of isolation. She began painting again, creating pieces for Clara's gallery, each stroke infused with prayer. Lily noticed, lingering in the attic one evening. "You're different," she said, her tone curious. Sarah smiled, daring to hope their bond could mend. But tension arose in the prayer group. A member, Helen, questioned Sarah's motives, whispering to others that she was using faith for attention. The words stung, rekindling Sarah's insecurities. She considered quitting, but Ruth encouraged her to stay. "Not everyone will understand your journey," she said. At 3 a.m., Sarah prayed for grace, writing, "Help me forgive Helen. Keep my heart open." The group's support, despite the conflict, became a lifeline, teaching Sarah the power of community. She didn't know it, but their prayers were aligning with God's plan, preparing her for a deeper test of faith. On the 6th night, Sarah's prayers took a darker turn. Kneeling, she felt a heaviness, as if the past was clawing at her. "God, why does it still hurt?" she asked, thinking of David's betrayal. The journal filled with raw confessions. "I hate him for leaving. I hate myself for failing." Memories flooded in David's charm, their early love, the night he admitted to an affair. The pain was a wound that hadn't healed, and Sarah realized it was poisoning her relationship with Lily. She prayed for release, but the weight lingered. The next day, a letter arrived from David, the first in years. He was in town, wanting to see Lily. Sarah's blood boiled. How dare he reappear? She crumpled the letter, but Lily found it, sparking an argument. "He's my dad," Lily shouted. "You can't keep him from me." Sarah's anger flared, but guilt followed. Was she punishing Lily for David's sins? She called Pastor Ruth, who urged her to pray for wisdom. At 3 a.m., Sarah wrestled with God, asking for strength to face David. The journal read, "I don't want to forgive, but I need to. For Lily. For me." Sarah arranged a meeting at a park, her stomach in knots. David looked older, his confidence gone. He apologized, admitting his failures, but Sarah's heart remained guarded. Lily, however, softened, hugging her father. Watching them, Sarah felt a mix of jealousy and relief. She painted that night, channeling her emotions into a stormy seascape, which Clara later praised. The painting sold quickly, easing the eviction threat. But David's return stirred old wounds, forcing Sarah to confront her bitterness. Her prayers became a battleground, each night a step toward healing, though the path was fraught with pain. By the 7th night, Sarah's prayers carried a new urgency. David's presence had unsettled her, and Helen's gossip in the prayer group grew louder. Kneeling, Sarah pleaded for protection. "God, guard my heart from betrayal," she prayed, the journal capturing her fear. "I'm trusting again, but it hurts." She sensed a storm brewing, one that would test her fragile faith. The glow from her Bible returned, faint but steady, urging her to hold fast. At the diner, Sarah overheard Helen spreading rumors, claiming Sarah was faking her faith for sympathy. The words cut deep, echoing her own doubts. She confronted Helen at the next prayer meeting, her voice shaking. "Why are you doing this?" Helen smirked, unapologetic. "Not everyone buys your story, Sarah." The group was divided, some defending Sarah, others siding with Helen. Pastor Ruth intervened, calling for unity, but Sarah left feeling exposed, her trust in the group fractured. At 3 a.m., she prayed for strength, writing, "I feel alone again. Show me who to trust." The betrayal deepened when Clara delayed the gallery contract, citing concerns about Sarah's reliability, likely influenced by Helen's rumors. Sarah's hope of financial stability crumbled, and she questioned God's plan. Yet, James remained steadfast, helping with the porch and sharing his own story of betrayal by a friend. His kindness anchored her. Sarah painted a new piece, a lone figure in a storm, pouring her pain into it. The painting caught Clara's eye, prompting her to reconsider. At 3 a.m., Sarah thanked God for small victories, but the sting of betrayal lingered. teaching her to rely on him above all. The eighth night found Sarah weary, her prayers a whisper against mounting fears. Helen's rumors had spread, and Clara's hesitation persisted. Kneeling, she felt isolated, the journal heavy with her plea. God, I'm scared to walk alone. Be my strength. The eviction deadline was days away, and Lily's meetings with David strained their fragile progress. Sarah prayed for courage, sensing she needed to face her fears head-on, without relying on others. The next day, Sarah visited the bank, hoping for a loan. The manager was kind but firm, no loan without collateral. Defeated, she wandered to Emberfield's old chapel, its stained glass glowing in the dusk. Inside, she sat alone, praying aloud, her voice echoing. A memory surfaced, her mother praying in this chapel, unshaken by life's storms. Inspired, Sarah returned home and painted through the night, creating a vibrant sunrise, symbolizing hope. She submitted it to Clara, who was moved, promising a gallery spot. But fear struck again when Lily ran off to David's hotel after an argument. Sarah drove through the rain, heart pounding, finding Lily safe but defiant. I want to live with Dad, Lily said, her words a dagger. Sarah's fear of losing her daughter overwhelmed her, but at 3 a.m., she prayed for patience, writing, I'm terrified, but I trust you with Lily. The chapel's peace lingered, reminding her she wasn't truly alone. Sarah's solitary journey was teaching her to confront fear with faith, preparing her for a revelation that would change everything. On the 9th night, Sarah's prayers felt electric, as if charged with divine purpose. The journal glowed faintly, and she wrote, God, show me your plan. I'm ready. The eviction deadline was tomorrow, and Lily's threat to leave haunted her. Yet, a strange peace settled over her, as if God was about to unveil something profound. She prayed for vision, for a glimpse of the future he promised. At the gallery, Clara showcased Sarah's sunrise painting, drawing a crowd. A buyer offered enough to cover the rent, saving their home. Sarah wept, thanking God. But Clara shared more. A collector wanted Sarah to create a series inspired by her journey. Overwhelmed, Sarah visited Pastor Ruth, who prayed over her, speaking words that chilled her. God has marked you for a purpose, Sarah. You'll lead others through the night. The prophecy stirred her, but doubt lingered. Could she, a broken woman, lead anyone? That night, Ezra reappeared, standing outside her window. The Lord says you're his light in Emberfield, he said. Write your story. It will heal many. He vanished, leaving Sarah shaken. At 3 a.m., she wrote her journey in the journal, each word a step toward embracing her calling. Lily, seeing her mother's passion, softened, sharing a drawing of their old home. The moment was fleeting, but it fueled Sarah's hope. The prophecy was daunting, but her prayers were aligning her with a destiny she was only beginning to grasp. The 10th night brought a spiritual battle. Sarah knelt, journal open, but a heaviness oppressed her. Doubt, fear, and accusation swirled. You're not enough. You'll fail Lily, the gallery, God. She recognized the enemy's voice, a force seeking to derail her. God, fight for me, she prayed, her voice defiant. The journal entry was fierce. I won't bow to lies. You are my victory. She read Ephesians 6, claiming the armor of God, her faith a shield against the unseen. The next day, challenges mounted. The collector demanded changes to Sarah's series, questioning her vision. Helen's rumors reached the gallery, causing whispers among buyers. Sarah's confidence wavered, but James and Ruth rallied around her, praying at the chapel. Their intercession strengthened her, and she painted with boldness, refusing to compromise. Lily, inspired, joined her, sketching beside her. The moment was a breakthrough. Though fleeting, Lily still met David, torn between parents. At 3 a.m., Sarah sensed a shift. The oppression lifted, replaced by peace. She wrote, The enemy tried to break me, but you won. The collector accepted her work, and Clara apologized for doubting her. Sarah's prayers were becoming a weapon, dismantling spiritual strongholds. She didn't know it, but this victory was preparing her for a sacrifice that would test her faith to its core. On the 11th night, Sarah's prayers turned to forgiveness. David's presence and Lily's pull toward him forced her to confront her bitterness. Kneeling, she wept, the journal capturing her struggle. God, I don't want to forgive him. Help me let go. The glow from her Bible was bright, guiding her to Matthew 6, Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. She prayed for grace, knowing forgiveness was a sacrifice, a step toward freedom. Sarah met David again, this time at a cafe. He shared his regrets, revealing his own brokenness, addiction, loss, shame. Sarah listened, her heart softening. I hurt you, and Lily, he said. I want to make it right. She didn't trust him fully, but she chose to forgive, for Lily's sake and her own. The act was liberating, though painful. At 3 a.m., she wrote, "Forgiveness feels like dying, but I'm free. Thank you." The gallery series was a success, securing Sarah's finances. Lily began opening up, sharing her fears of losing both parents. Sarah promised to be there, painting a portrait of Lily as a gift. But David's past caught up. A debt collector threatened him, endangering Lily. Sarah prayed for protection, offering to help David, a final act of grace. Her sacrifice strengthened her bond with Lily, proving that forgiveness could heal even the deepest wounds. The 12th night was a celebration. Sarah knelt, journal glowing, her prayers filled with gratitude. "God, you've carried me through," she said, reflecting on her journey. Ezra's call, the prayer group, Lily's softening heart, the gallery success. The eviction was averted, and David was rebuilding his life, respecting Sarah's boundaries. She wrote, "You turned my darkness into dawn. I'm yours." The glow was radiant, a sign of God's presence. Sarah's series debuted to acclaim, her story inspiring others. She shared her testimony at the prayer group, even Helen listening, softened by Sarah's humility. Lily joined her, displaying her own art, their bond stronger. James proposed a community art project, uniting Emberfield's youth, with Sarah leading. She hesitated, remembering Ezra's prophecy, but accepted, embracing her calling. At 3 a.m., she prayed for boldness, writing, "Use me to shine your light." A local paper featured Sarah, calling her Emberfield's beacon. Strangers approached her, sharing their own 3 a.m. prayers, inspired by her story. Lily hugged her one night, whispering, "I'm proud of you, Mom." The moment was a miracle, proof of God's restoration. Sarah's journey wasn't over, but the dawn had broken, illuminating a new chapter of purpose and hope. On the 13th night, Sarah's prayers focused on legacy. Her journal was nearly full, a chronicle of God's faithfulness. "Let my story glorify you," she prayed, sensing a call to share her testimony widely. The glow was steady, urging her to act. She wrote, "I was broken, but you rebuilt me. Use my voice." Lily's growing faith in the community's response fueled her courage. Sarah spoke at a regional art festival, sharing how 3 a.m. prayers transformed her. The crowd was moved, many approaching her with tears, sharing their struggles. A publisher offered to turn her journal into a book, a prospect that thrilled and terrified her. She prayed for guidance, joined by Ruth and James. Lily designed the book's cover, a sunrise mirroring Sarah's painting. The process was grueling, reliving her pain, editing late nights, but Sarah persevered, her prayers sustaining her. Helen apologized, admitting her jealousy. Sarah forgave her, their reconciliation a testimony of grace. The book's release drew crowds, inspiring a 3 a.m. prayer movement in Emberfield. Sarah led a workshop, teaching others to journal their prayers. At 3 a.m., she thanked God, writing, "My story is yours. Let it reach the lost." Her testimony was spreading, a light in the darkness, fulfilling Ezra's prophecy. On the 14th night, Sarah knelt, journal complete, her heart overflowing. "God, you've done more than I could imagine," she prayed, the glow now a constant companion. She reflected on her journey, from despair to deliverance, from isolation to community, from doubt to unshakable faith. The journal read, "Your light shines through me. Let it spread." Emberfield was transformed, its people united in prayer, inspired by Sarah's story. Sarah launched a citywide prayer initiative, gathering hundreds at 3 a.m. in the chapel. Lily spoke, sharing how her mother's faith restored their bond. James proposed, and Sarah accepted, their love a testament to God's timing. The book became a bestseller, reaching readers worldwide, sparking prayer groups in distant cities. Sarah traveled, speaking at churches, her testimony igniting revival. Yet, she remained humble, returning to Emberfield, praying nightly at 3 a.m. Beloved friends, Sarah's story shows that God meets us in the night, turning our trials into triumphs. Will you answer his call? Rise at 3 a.m., seek him, and watch him move. Type Amen below, share this story, and join our prayer community. Thank you for walking this journey with us. May God's grace and peace be with you all forever. Amen.